Mrs. Arris Goes to Paris is a 2022 historical comedy drama film directed and produced by Anthony Fabian from the screenplay he co-wrote with Carroll Cartwright, Keith Thompson and Olivia Hetreed. It is the third film adaptation of the 1958 novel Mrs. Arris Goes to Paris by Paul Gallico. The film stars Lesley Manville as Mrs. Arris. The film enjoyed strong box office result in the United States art house circuit. In March 2021, Focus Features acquired the worldwide distribution rights to Mrs. Arris Goes to Paris for approximately $15 million. It was released theatrically in the United States on the 15th of July 2022. It was originally scheduled to be released on the 6th of May, but the film was released in the United Kingdom on the 30th of September 2022 and was released in Hungary on the 6th of October 2022. In the United States, the film made $2 million from 980 theatres in its opening weekend. 44% of its audience were women over the age of 55. Some interesting trivia notes about the film. The beautiful bridge Mrs. Arris crosses during the film is the Albert Bridge, linking Chelsea with Battersea. £500 back then, in today's terms, would be approximately $13,000 in 2022. Budapest stood in for some of the Paris settings. Like its French counterpart, it has much of the same architectural style, narrow cobbled streets and lovely old buildings. Interesting enough, both this film and the 1992 Angela Lansbury starring television movie were both primarily filmed in Budapest, for this very same reason. The book had been filmed before for television, firstly in 1958 for a CBS television one-hour drama with Gracie Fields in the titular character, and the more famously as a feature-length TV movie in 1992 with Angela Lansbury and Omar Sharif. Christian Dior himself died of a heart attack on October 24th in 1957, the same year that this film is set. Although only 52 years old at the time, he nonetheless looked much older, much like the character in the film. Mrs. Arris and Violet Butterfield are seen going to gamble on a greyhound racing at the White City Stadium in West London. This is factually correct, as most forms of gambling were illegal in the UK at the time the film is set. Placing a bet with a licensed bookmaker in person at a racecourse was one of the few legalised ways to gamble. Betting shops were not legalised until Betting and Gambling Act was passed by Parliament in 1960. Mrs. Arris is also seen playing the football pools, another legal way to bet. Football pools fell out of favour with the public after the introduction of the National Lottery in the United Kingdom in 1994. The cast includes Lesley Manville as Ada Harris, a widowed cleaning lady who becomes obsessed with one client's haute couture Christian Dior dress. Isabelle Huppert as Claudine Colbert, the Christian Dior director who resents Ada's intrusion into the exclusive world of haute couture. Lambert Wilson as Marquis de Charzon, a wealthy widower who befriends Ada. Alba Baptista as Natasha, a Dior model. Lucas Bravo as André Fauvel, the Christian Dior accountant. Ellen Thompson as Vi Butterfield, Ada Harris's best friend. And Jason Isaacs as Archie, a friend to Ada and potential love interest who works as a bookmaker at the Greyhound racetrack. Now, led by a great performance here by Lesley Manville, this is a good old-fashioned fantasy romantic film. And frankly, it's a film that would have worked very well as part of the Disney catalogue. For me, it's almost like Mary Poppins meets Cinderella. And really all it is a feel-good fantasy film that would leave you with a smile if you don't think too hard. It's charming and it's lovely and it's well made. And I loved seeing Paris here, as it always is such a special city to have as a backdrop, even with the garbage strike in 1957 playing out as part of this backdrop. Obviously, seeing some of the magnificent garments that Christian Dior creates are just so beautiful and spellbinding. And with its fun, easy-to-like characters, and undemanding plot, well, this film just sort of breezes by. Yes, of course, you have the occasional antagonists to add a bit of depth to the story, as it were, but of course, all of it comes around in the end, as they all live happily ever after, as it were. I was pointed, though, to one fact that maybe the movie makes light of, and that is the idea of materialism, as Mrs. Arris only seems whole and happy when she can buy this fabulous dress, and of course now be seen and recognised for the first time, all based around having this Christian Dior garment. It's a good point to make, though, in the ideas of materialism, but in the same breath, though, I don't think this movie really wants you thinking too hard. My one major gripe, though, with the film has to be its score. It's so overdone and annoying at times, and it really does play out like if you're watching a Disney family schmaltzy film. Rael Jones really outdoes himself with the score, and frankly it just irritates me. Scores should be subtle things that lie underneath the film and add to a scene, rather than overwhelm a scene. In saying that though, this is an easy to like film, which is fun, uncomplicated, and a feel-good way to spend 2 hours of your time as you're taken back to 1957 Paris, surrounded by beautiful fashion and easy to like characters. Led here by a charming performance by a veteran actress like Manville, it really is completely inoffensive in every way, and at the end of the day, it is there to make you smile, and to forget about your troubles for a little while. In saying that though, it's not a movie that will go down as one that I'll remember for a long time. Like I said, easy, fun, and relaxing to watch, without ever really blowing you away. Mrs. Arris Goes to Paris gets a 7 out of 10.